be a millionaire or some kind of petty bourgeoisie anytime you're living here. In this country, you got to be in skullduggery, making you money illicitly to live like somebody. In this country, it's outrageous and insane. Them crazy prices in Port of Spain, and like the merchants going out their brain, and the working man like the only toiling in vain. Where you ever hear a television for 7,000, $250,000 for in piece of land? A pair of sneakers, $200, 80,000-90,000 for motor cars. At last, here in Trinidad, we see capitalism gone mad. It's sad and getting more bad, because capitalism gone mad.
I wonder what Sparrow will say what's happening in Grenada right now. Pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And how are we doing this afternoon? Time check 1 minute past 6. You're on to the class in session program, right?
To provide for your family today on your present salary is an impossibility. In this country, so many bills to pay, there is no conceivable way to save for a rainy day. In this country, our voraciousness, to be precise, is why every damn thing so overpriced. Big business making everybody feel government give them an open license to steal. Would you believe me? One night of panty is $19.90, $20 for some baby milk. The cheapest jersey costs over $60, $200 and change a yard for silk. It's hard here in Trinidad. Lord have mercy, capitalism gone mad. It's sad.
Welcome to the persons on my YouTube and Facebook page.
Lord, capitalism gone mad.
How are we doing this afternoon? How are we doing? Grenada is mostly sunny, right? Natasha Joseph Lance, get home safely, my dear. Sure, when you get home, I'll still be on here.
This is Caribbean Vibe.
Put your headphones on. Listen right now. Good evening to you, Che.
To buy a pack of cigarette, just leave
You Yolanda Francois must big your girl.
money is so hard.
You're here early today.
In this country, necessity or luxuries, it doesn't matter what the item is.
Errol Bonaparte, congratulations. You're the first on my YouTube page.
Primary school books, price is lewd. Is highway robbery, the price of food. All hopes and
mind you,
dreams eluded.
Facebook viewers,
But politicians still
YouTube is already up to 72 viewers, right?
just imagine this.
44 views.
Over 3,000, not even dying today easy. Thousands of dollars for the under.
Once you're here, Che, too long, you will learn.
In the cemetery, it hard here in Trinidad. Oh Lord, capitalism gone mad. The gladness that once we had is gone because capitalism gone mad.
Brave boy safe on your way to work, right? Ladies and gentlemen, it would be another interactive evening. Tag somebody right now. Let them know class is in session. It is our interactive Wednesday. Jump into the comment section.
You got to have heavy
or you can call me on 5365843
to make any
via WhatsApp in order to get into the conversation, right?
How to scheme and swindle properly, perfect the art of will and deal in this country.
So on Friday, ladies and gentlemen, officially
in this land,
school uniforms would be ready.
For no man, with unemployment and high inflation, Summer we go dead before the end of this recession.
So school uniforms are ready.
This summer
Be purchased by Friday.
costing $350, $40
Make your orders right now.
melon. Half your salary for fish meat and poultry. Time you buy greens, all your money done.
Even the music are playing is blasting the government.
God, Lord have mercy, capitalism gone mad. It's time.
Listen to the words of the song, Chi.
Oh, Lord, capitalism gone mad.
You know as a musician, right? I don't need to speak. I can play all the selections for the day. All will be falling in their pot. Somebody's saying already, my question is why some of the monsters telling people they want to leave the administration and they're not doing to save their country. It is because of the money they are getting, 24,000 they're getting for doing nothing. So already, ladies and gentlemen, the comment section, somebody's saying that there are persons that are wanting to leave the government and they are not doing so because they're getting their little sweetness now. Could you believe that the government had the people calling in today on the point to rate them? Tell you, I know you are careful in Grenada. Be very careful in Grenada. As it said, dance in your section. Ladies and gentlemen, this administration is on a renovation drive. Renovation and refurbishment. And so, they're basically making good use of paintings. Right? And so we must say to them that for a long period of time here in Grenada, maybe we didn't understand the good use of paints. And now we're realizing that this administration is using a lot of paint. But however, ladies and gentlemen, for those of us who knows better and knows what happens, and you see it happening in a lot of basketball courts, and let's hope that they're using the right paint. Because when rain falls, what happens, those areas normally get a bit slippery. So let's hope that the right paint is being used. All right? But however, ladies and gentlemen, I want to jump into something that I started off, my day started off in such a manner. Right? And I want to continue this conversation because ever so often, ladies and gentlemen, you always hear me on my program speaking as it relates to protocol and respect. You have always heard me on my program very big on respecting individuals. And sometimes when I speak and I tell you, does this is the program, not too long thereafter, you would see a sudden effect take place. Now let me make this abundantly clear. Even and especially to the NNP supporters. First and foremost, when there is a member of parliament or a minister of government or senator, when you see them, first thing you must respect is the office. Let me say that again. Whenever you see a parliamentary representative or a minister of government, the first thing to be respected is their office. Now you can share displeasure on the actions, but first thing you must learn to respect is the office. Secondly, you must pay attention to what is basic moral standard, in that of whether or not this person is elder than I am or younger than I am. Either way, we know how or no, the manner in which we must address our elders. Then moral statute brings marital status into light and profession. So is a teacher, good morning, miss. A doctor, good morning, doctor. Pastor, good morning, pastor. Police officer, good morning, officer. And then it brings that into light. Marital status brings Good morning, Mr. Good morning, Mrs. And this is basic moral stature, ladies and gentlemen. Basic. You don't have to go in a big university. The trenches of life that you would have grown in, you must know what moral standard gives within your society. The elders on the bus would expect, if the young man or young lady or anybody gets into the bus, the expectation is good morning, good evening. You walk into the medical station. There are some moral standards, ladies and gentlemen, that goes. Where am I going with my conversation? My conversation takes me to a posting made by Minister Andy Williams and was brought to my attention this morning. And ladies and gentlemen, one of the first things any individual would want to do, and let me say this to you guys, one of the first things that you want to do when you read something is to understand it. When you read something, ladies and gentlemen, your very first thing is to understand what was read. Ain't no hard and fast way about it. So if you read something, the expectation is that you understand what is being said. Now, Parliamentary Representative Mrs. Emmeline Pear, just about 1 day ago, posted on her Facebook timeline. And I know many of you all are not Facebook fazzy. So many of you all might have heard of the situation, but might not have seen it or had it explained in the manner in which it is. And she posts, and I quote, "The young men of Marquis recently met with me and raised the concern that they have never seen the basketball court in such a condition. They are no longer able to use the court. This court has not been maintained since the last general election. I am hoping that some work can be done very soon so that the young men can be playing at nights as they used to. For reference, Mr. Adrian Gabriel and Jeremy Gabriel have been the contractors maintaining the facilities for years." Now, if I am reading this from the other side or from whence I sit, my first assessment as an able-bodied thinking man is to see what? Not concern. That the individual making this post is concerned. Secondly, what is our concern? The concern zeroes in to maintaining the facility. Not renovation, not refurbishment, not fix, but the maintenance thereof. Now, the maintenance of a property could require sweeping, keeping clean. Maybe if a little wire come out, you just take on something and you fix it back. And you keep the area conducive enough to be used. This is, to me, the assessment or what I would have assessed when Sister Emmeline Pear made this post public. But you see, sometimes when we believe we are too educated, we are dotish enough to not understand that the simple facts of an information should be just taken as is. Simple. And a lot of the times, ladies and gentlemen, and let me bring you back to the reign of the past administration. In your own opinion, you believe that Dr. Mitchell did not used to hear or see some of the things posted on Facebook, the memes made on him. Most of the time you see that happening, what you find happening not too long after, Dr. Mitchell called on his team and the issue is fixed. And a lot of them are not educated politically enough to understand that many of the times Dr. Mitchell administration was bashed on something, and ask within the realm that when somebody bashes something publicly, not too long after, Dr. Mitchell would deal with the person responsible for and have it fixed. Anytime you meet him, ask him how the Moncuba idea or initiative came to mind. Ask him, he's willing to share the story anytime. Ladies and gentlemen, we can't continue to play politics for vote. Either it is right or either it is wrong. Either it can be fixed or it cannot be fixed. You cannot make justifications in making the point that this has been there from how long and was not fixed. Simply say, okay, we recognize the issue, we will fix it. Have it fixed, and then we judge you on what was done, not what was not done. Because an individual going to cast a vote may say, by the Mackey Court was not developed or fixed or refurbished or upgraded by X, Y, or Z. And so I believe because this person did it, I'm going to give them a vote. But you see, when you want to use politics to display your barbarous behavior and your alcoholic consumption behavior and lack respect for people within our society in whom you must have respect for, you lose your sense of pride first and foremost, and then it follows everything in terms of respect, in terms of brotherhood, and in terms of understanding that, as I said earlier on, respecting the office of an individual. And so, after this was made public by Sister Emmeline Pear, the Wajan in Granance, minister responsible for mobilization, information, and trash, Minister Andy Williams, made a Facebook post not addressing just the issue, but bringing to light his level of disgust and disrespect in which he knows how to display so well by posting this. So let me address this. Someone who have told Emmeline Pear that I was in Marquis area last week looking at the basketball court and its deplorable condition. All of a sudden, she's asking for works to be done. Political gimmicks. That is what he said. Someone please tell Emmeline Pear that the Marquis basketball court will be refurbished soon by Minister David Andrew. Since 2016, the court was in this condition. See first picture. And nothing was done. Even though she was the previous Minister of Youth and Sport. Please see attached work done by MP Ron Redhead on the basketball court in Boca. The government is currently on a mission to refurbish all courts throughout the island. Now tell me how much more dotish of a response this could be. First and foremost, as a minister of government, you assume something that was made public. She said she was addressed or approached by young men within the Marquis area. So there is no denial that somebody spoke with her. She said what they spoke to her about. But you're assuming that somebody spoke to her because you was in Marquis looking at the basketball court. You don't see that little children thing? These are ministers of government making those posts. So somebody told the sitting MP of the area, that a minister would have passed and looked at the Mackey basketball court. And so, because she saw that, the person saw that, Emmeline Pierre took it to Facebook and make such a post. You feel Emmeline Pierre that low-key, brother? You feel Mrs. Pierre is that low-key? Mrs. Pierre is not a fly-by-night politician, you know. She is one of the politicians that came through the channels. If you don't know. Coordinator. Facilitator. PS. Minister of Government. Parliamentary representative. She not like you. So, when first and foremost addressing such stalwart of a woman, you might have had to put an handle to her name. Because up to now, we don't know who you're talking about. Because you see, we continue to say, and the other side would make justifications that is uncouth. But we continue to remind you guys that those are persons whose respect level is so low. The standard and protocol is so far from them in simply understanding who, what, and when they should respect persons. And so, somebody made it public, somebody sent some information to me. And let me read it. And you see, sometimes, as I said to you, and I believe that the Public Service Commission would have made public some information as it relates to Facebook posts. And I'm in possession of same. It took effect as of April 28th. It goes on to say, the Public Service Commission has been made aware of social media posts made by public officers, which have the potential to bring the service into disrepute. In this regard, I have been directed by the Commission to advise public officers to avoid making posts on social media, which can reasonably be determined to be of a nature which will bring both themselves and the public service into disrepute. The Commission does hereby request all public officers to be responsible in the pronouncement made via social and other broadcasting media. Consequence of the circular, the Commission will take action as deemed appropriate should it be brought to its attention that the officers by their posts have brought both themselves and the public service into disrepute. I shall be grateful if the circular is brought to the attention of all officers who are required to sign a copy of same and indicate that they read and understand its contents. Kindly return signed copy to the office by April 20th. That was Saturday last. Now let me say to you, after yesterday's post by Minister Andy Williams, I believe that he should be reprimanded because he is blatantly not respecting the office of the parliamentary representative, not even saying MP Emmeline Pierre. You see, we will not understand this until we go further afield to understand how people, listen to me, look at the election is gearing up in the United States. Look at the different medias. Listen how they still address Donald Trump. Listen to their pronouncement, even if all that is hanging around his head. Ex-President, Mr. Donald Trump, Donald Trump's administration, still that level of respect given to the individual. But it's like here in Grenada, we're of the belief that we won an election and whomever comes thereafter or who would have lost is beneath us. And that is bad politics. Because parliamentary representatives or parliamentarians are respected throughout the state. Why? There are people within the constituency elected them to be there. So you disrespect an MP, you disrespect the constituency. You never look at it like that. And if Andy Williams, Minister Andy Williams, go back to his post and realizing that addressing the issue is not the issue we have here, but the manner in which you address the parliamentary representative. Because when you went down further, you addressed David Andrew as Minister David Andrew. So it was nothing where you were just calling names. It wasn't nothing where you're just making a post, because you tentatively mentioned Minister David Andrew. But to put Parliamentary Representative Emmeline Pear or MP Emmeline Pear, or if you want to put it as ex or past Minister for Youth and Sport Emmeline Pear, we would have accepted that. She's a married woman, we would have accepted Mrs. Emmeline Pear. According to old people, your piece start to make froth. So you feel you're big. You ought to respect first and foremost the office of an individual. I don't care who you are. You need to understand that it is the protocol given. I would not stand in no forum, because sometimes I do little MCing and so on, and I would not stand at no forum, not because I didn't support the party, but I would stand nowhere, and the arrival of a minister, of a parliamentary representative or senator gets there, and I would address them Lego. Oh, let's recognize the arrival of Andy Williams. If you want to accept it, that's your business, but your office must be respected by whomever. And you guys are going around and believing to yourself that you're all henchmen. As I made the reference this morning, I've seen many politicians. Remember one time very young, when I think it was 2008, when did, if I memory serves me right, I think it was a close call or a loss by Adrian Mitchell in one of the elections. I was very young, and my mother was saying, well, how Spaceman could lose this seat? I think the polls were very close. The polls were very close. And throughout the state, many persons were praising Adrian Mitchell, may his soul continue to rest in peace, as it relates to the work that he was doing within his constituency, St. Patrick's East. Many persons were baffled. I think it was the 8-7, but sometime. Persons baffled as it relates to saying, watch me, this one gets scholarship, Adrian Mitchell give this. How will you turn? Was Adrian Mitchell for the New National Party? And on election day, you from the area, he sponsored this team, he give this one scholarship, cricket, football, whatever. Adrian Mitchell asked about him, what he didn't do as a politician. And then the people on election say, listen to me, let me humble you. Everybody asking what Adrian do. I have seen people do much more than you in politics, Brother Williams. And on election day, when the electorates are ready to say that is enough of you, you can't stop that. Humble yourself. Look at persons and areas in which constituents continue to elect or re-elect their parliamentary representatives. See how humble they are. See how humble the areas are. Go in St. Mark's. Go in St. George's Northwest. Come in the town of St. George. And ask why those persons are continuously winning them seats. You see them putting Facebook page and cussing this parliament there. And they are educated politicians here who knows how to remain in seat. You jump in. Look at criteria reach. Parliamentary representative for South. Look at criteria reach. And Minister David Andrews would do the quote just now. Minister David Andrews was elected by the people within the constituency. You see the disrespect? Is he responsible for Ministry of Works? That's his ministry. Because I don't know the ministry. So if he's responsible for Ministry of Works, then fine. But you're not humbling yourself. Look at your post. Look at your post. There are people that are still sharing stories. Ex-police officers and others who could have said to you, listen to me, every month. There were times every month Dr. Mitchell would give an envelope to somebody to drop for some poor family or relative from his personal salary. How many times have you seen him take it to Facebook and exalted that I give these people that and I give them that? Everything you're posting. Because you want self-exaltation. But you are not realizing that your party and administration is failing the state. Because if you have to be all over the place, then it shows something is wrong. And you're not seeing that. I remember saying to you to face in the lines, I say you're playing too much opposition on the football field. I'm from Victoria, I know. And I have a big game coming up. You're playing too much opposition on the football field. So every time something goes wrong in defense, you're back on defense. Midfield, strike, left wing, right defense, left defense, goalkeeper. The body is wearing down. The body is worn down. And that is what you're not understanding. Humble yourself. And you're not getting this clarion call. Because when you put it up on Facebook and you put up your thing, you're seeing 200 and 400 notifications of who like and who love. This does not determine whether or not you remain a parliamentary representative come end of year during the general election. Oh, I call it already, sorry. Humble yourself. Respect each other. Can you compare your level of politics to any years of Sister Emmeline Pay? Come on. Take any 2 years. Or 1 year and 9 months. Take any one of it. And compare yourself to Sister Emmeline Pay. Go ahead. Take any two. The first two, the last two, two in the middle, two in the back. You're not ready for what you putting yourself in. Relax. Take it easy. You jump in the gun, my dear brother. There are other issues of the state that are important. Let me ask the question. What benefits does all this painting of basketball court and all these things, how does it benefit a state? Ask yourself this question. We are not developing the coaching and discipline of our young people. As I said, we just want raw talent. So we paint court and we say, let me open a basketball competition. And the basketball competition finish and we send them home. Who have injury, who handbrake, who foot brake. Government's initiative should be driving now to teach persons how to be coaches. Different disciplines. You look at the world right now and you come here, we hosted a game. And only track athletes we have. Jamaica, hurdles. This one, that one. Pole vaulting. Those are the things. Government needs to start from its roots. So you paint court and you believe people go and play basketball? It doesn't happen so. Initiative driven. And they go turn, you just hear they say, government has a basketball competition. They just listen to the program. For those of you in the outside the class, peeping through the window. Good evening. Implementation. And understand your role. Listen to me. Let me say this. Go on the page. Go. We could maybe look at it together, and we could look into it. How we say government ministers in Grenada, and let me government of Grenada, and the web page I think defines the role of each minister of government. I think we're supposed to have that. Am I handy on it? Yeah, really. Give me some information here. Because I want you guys, because I got you the last time. Because I want you guys to understand the role and function of Andy Williams' position. And he doesn't know. Right? I don't think he knows. Right? MIT. I have it in hand. So let me see. Minister of Infrastructure. No. Let me look for it. I think he has one of these. Right. The shortest description for his ministry. Minister of Mobilization, Implementation, and Transformation. Guess what it is, role and function? The word implementation, mobilization, and transformation. Off my head, mobilize means to get together, gathering, pulling together, basically. Right? Implementation is the actual or the physical, or that's my own words, the physical, okay, how I should put it, hands-on of something. Because if you say implementing something, it's because it's an initiative, a practical concept. Those are initiatives or implementation. And transformation. Well, transformation, the only way I see transformation is in the movie, in Transformers. But your description says, on all other ministry, getting things done. That's the description of the ministry that Andy Williams is in charge of. Getting things done. Basically, if he's on a sporting team, he's the aquatic engineer. He's part of the medic. That's your role. Minister of Government. You go into climate resilience and so on. You say, enhancing Grenada's ability to anticipate, prepare for, respond to hazardous events, trends, distribution relates to climate. Right. Yeah, nice thing description. You go on to our next one, health, education, resilience, education, system development, well-rounded, global citizens, committed. You hear description? And the on, getting things done. You don't see you is the ball boy? You is the ball boy. You are the ball boy of our whole administration. And you don't realizing that. Humble yourself. Take it easy. And most of all, our very own Emmeline Pierre, tread lightly, my dear brother. I want to the wisest official. My partner asked me this morning if they paying me, if daddy paying me for. Unlike the Commissioner of Police, my pay grade is enough to defend the integrity of this administration and this political organization. See, my dear friend would have posted this evening there. Late this afternoon, I see that. Try as your mind, you cannot understand why customs have to see people making so much trouble. I think there's a clip here. I think this makes sense.
Make this make sense. Make this make sense. Look at the land. Look at the amount of people. Look at the amount of people inside Nawasa. Yeah, at 11:30 in the morning.
So that was in Nawasa. Nawasa 11:30 this morning. See a line of people, one cashier. You know where that goes. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take a turn this evening. And an individual, Shimodru, let me take a turn for a little while. You understand me? Just about at 4:45, at 6:45 or thereabout, we're going to try to take the phone calls. But just listen to this exclusive last night from GBN. Just listen to this right here.
This is why we are here.
Sorry.
It is rather alarming, and this is why we are here,
Listen.
to inquire as to why Mr. Justice Innocent, who after 8 months of having one judge in the criminal jurisdiction of the court, unable to handle the inexhaustible backlog of cases.
Attorneys Anselm Clouden and Jerry Edwin say they are yet to understand the jurisdiction behind the removal of High Court Judge Justice Sean Innocent, who was assigned to Grenada less than 8 months ago. Clouden wants Justice Innocent to be reinstated immediately to avoid the frustrating issue of case backlog.
And today, on Friday, I had a bail application before it. Without any good and sufficient reason, we were not told why Mr. Justice Innocent was absent from court. Today, we had matters before him, and again, we were not told why Mr. Justice Innocent was absent from court. No discussions were held, no indication as to what is transpired, and therefore we are left to speculate, and speculation in the legal context is never acceptable. We need the bare bone facts.
And I stop it there. I stop it there. You know why I stop it? Because the minister responsible for that response would never answer. Claudette, they are calling on you, Minister Claudette Joseph, most respectfully. They are calling on you for answers. Because very early in you taking up the ministry in which you took up, you spoke as it relates to the amount of backlog. I remember, I don't know how many of you all remember seeing that clipping, where you spoke as it relates to the backlog of cases and how your administration would have implemented things to ensure that this does not happen. Mrs. Prosecutor, sir. The people needs an answer. And they're speaking through Counsel Clouden. But she won't answer. If we get an answer, it would be one that she would go and sleep on for the weekend, and they will come up with something nice. We know that. But ladies and gentlemen, if you listen to the end of the clip, and let me bring it there. I think somebody's calling at a very bad time. We will take that call in a while. If we bring it to the end of the clip, and I don't know whether or not it was said, did I lose it? Whether or not the attempt was made to contact, because you know normally that's what they do. They used to do it in an time. In mentioning that attempts was made, let's say here.
And this is why we are here.
Continue to voice their displeasure.
Scheduled again before Justice Innocent.
Sorry.
Be determined due to the unavailability of Justice Innocent.
My client has been on the remand block of the Richmond Hill prison for the last 5.5 years without knowing what will transpire in his life. The reason we are having a trial is because this man is forceful about his innocence. We have another matter. We'll have a bail application on Friday, scheduled again before Justice Innocent, in which 4 defendants have been at the Richmond Hill prison for more than 5 years.
Clouden and Edwin say they will continue to voice their displeasure until they are given answers or until Justice Innocent returns to the bench. For MTV News, Kayla Flavani.
You heard what I heard? Did anybody attempt to seek clarity from the Minister of Legal Affairs, as is often said at the end of those clips? Or the minister responsible was contacted and no response was given? Open your guys' eyes. And the more you guys listen to these programs, you would need to open your eyes. You would need to open your eyes, ladies and gentlemen. Because some of this media are quite aware. They don't always preach as to what has to be done. They remember. But when it comes to this new reign, ladies and gentlemen, everybody gone silent. Everybody gone silent. And it saddens me more. Two well-known counsel making the inquiry. No, at the end of the clip, nobody said, well, we're going to contact this, or we're going to contact that, or we're going to find out more about this. Well, maybe they do it today. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. But another minister of government who has gone AWOL. We don't know. I don't know whether or not Sister Claudette is in state, outer state, or she in a state. I don't know. So whenever you guys see Sister Claudette, tell her I say good afternoon for you. Ladies and gentlemen, at this stage, we are open to taking a few phone calls. We are open to taking a few phone calls. You can call us on 536-5843. In making such contact, we're asking persons to please not try to defamate anyone's character or be insultive or obscene. So at this stage, we're going to open the lines. Normally we wait for a little 5 minutes. We're going to try to read some of the things in the comment section. All right, let me see. Somebody saying their preaching was just to garner votes, right? They had no intention of following through. They had and still do not have any idea as to governance. We're viewing a very disjointed movie currently. All right, we have a call online. Hello and pleasant good evening. You're on to the Classroom program. How we assist you this evening?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Boss. Good afternoon to the Classroom.
Good afternoon, my dear brother.
I have just three little observations.
Right.
You touch on the disrespect from the Honorable Minister of the South.
Right.
And that seems to be something that is trending, that was trending prior to the election and after these guys were elected. And it happened lately. The Honorable Lacret in the Senate referred to Dr. Modesta as mad black woman. Mm-hmm. You heard the Minister for St. John. She addressed the House and she said the word commoners and she mentioned big dogs. Mm-hmm. You have seen Minister Redhead tell the Honorable Dr. Mitchell to shut up. Right. We have seen Deacon Mitchell when he went, Honorable Deacon Mitchell, Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, he was in Carriacou, I think for the first year, and he was mimicking Dr. Mitchell on a stage.
Right.
You know, so the utterances from Honorable Williams is not new to me, and it won't be new, and I won't be surprised. I'm not. Right? Secondly, today, these gentlemen, there's a program on another station called GBN where on a Wednesday, these guys will go on for the government side. And for some reason, the government side, a member or a rep for the government side was not on that program. And the host of the program gave a question. And the question to me was rather fair enough. You're going to put it in a small zone that rate the government from 1 to 5 and give the reason for your ratings.
Right.
And of course, you know the people who call, you will have people calling. But lo and behold, a familiar voice called in the voice of Ambassador Terry Forrester.
Right.
Now, I have a little idea of how the procedure is supposed to work, especially when you're doing ambassadorship. You're supposed to be an ambassador for everybody. This gentleman is the ambassador for the Diaspora affairs.
Right.
Right? And he is calling, and he's basically telling the host, don't make the questions look that question was yours, which means that question was it was given to the host of the station what to ask. So that was purposely done. And that was done because of the news item that was on JBN program the night before with this FRAP, the fiscal resilience and stuff like that.
Right.
But they get your ratings and all these things. So they said that the people to call, right?
Right.
But let me tell you something. I remember Honorable Deacon Mitchell, before he was Honorable Deacon Mitchell, before he was Prime Minister, himself and Ron Redhead, when the IMF was giving Grenada praise, these men was on that same program.
Right.
A Wednesday morning, and they were saying that numbers was given to the IMF by the Minister of Finance, then Gregory Bowen and stuff.
Right.
So numbers don't mean nothing.
Right.
But all of a sudden, you telling me that 2 hotels bill, or hotels bill in less than 2 years. You tell me tourism open back in less than 2 years. These gentlemen forgetting that we had a COVID pandemic in 2020, 2021, and half almost 2022. We were still in mass in 2022. So when the economy is bouncing back, it's not because of NDC, it's in spite of NDC. The place is opening back.
Right.
And that is the problem we have. We have what they call a delusional party. And lastly, what they're doing, this thing about the diaspora affairs. I have no problem with Grenadians coming up to vote once they live in Grenada.
Right.
But what these guys are touting in the law about once you're Grenadian and once you have a passport and once you have birth paper, fair enough. But you can't come and tell me that you are an American citizen or a UK citizen or, well, the Commonwealth. Probably you can use the Commonwealth, but not America and Spain or wherever, or where they're targeting, and then you come here and vote in Grenada and leave and go back. I have a problem with that. And if the NMP did it then, it was wrong, and it is wrong now. But what these guys are doing, they are advertising it openly.
Right.
And we will go out on our last and make sure that voters list has people that is staying in Grenada that could vote here. You don't come down and vote and go back. I don't care who you vote for. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Carla. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, and that's as I said, it's a salient point. It's a very good point, because when you just on the notion, and you see, we sometimes need to understand the doors that we're opening. You know, we have persons that are American citizens, persons that have not been here, well, might have been here sometime. Maybe if you check with 10 years period, it doesn't make a month, because they come maybe 1 week, 3 days, 4 days. And we can't just believe that democratically that gives you the right to come and cast a ballot. Let's be fair enough. An individual comes back home, lived his or her life 15, 16 years overseas, and they decide they am coming back home. They're here 6 months, 7 months, you know, on the regular. And that is understood. But you can't just have persons fly a plane, come to Grenada, get registered, go back, live your life for the next umpteen years, and then come back to Grenada maybe in the next 3 years or so, cast a ballot and go. There are persons whom we can see. Sometimes they're home more regular than anything else. 2, 3 times in 1 year. Some of these people you see coming here, they don't know when last they see home. And if they come here, it's because they're on some invitation, somebody there or something. We need to curb that issue. Grenadians are Grenadians, and we accept. But at the same time, we cannot just be floating on our democratic rights as a people, that anybody could just come and say, this is the government they want, and then they don't live here. So somebody come and tell you, put that stove in your house, put that fridge in your house, and there's not in your house to operate it when you want it to be operated. You're boasting as it relates to, oh, how many people in the diaspora coming back home to vote. What excitement that should be? What are you rejoicing about that? You're basically happy to have persons elect you in whom you're not servicing. Because they would come here, cast a ballot, and go back to America, and you're not serving them. Your service remains to the people of Grenada, and who lives on the island, who resides on the island. So that's a very good point there, caller, and I really commend, really commend that, right? Because at the end of the day, we need to understand democratically. And you see, many a times, and I don't just blame this administration, many a time we have accepted too many things. We have not nipped many things in the butt before. And we're seeing now that there are major issues. Because that is what we're seeing now. They are becoming or have become major issues. Issues at the end of the day, right now, we can't control it. Because it has gone too far. Back then, when I was continuously saying, I don't care who it is. But the gentleman on the host program is disrespecting the offices of too many ministers of government, even the Prime Minister. And everybody justified, oh, the Prime Minister. If the Prime Minister was doing it at the time, I said to him, this is not right. We in our personal space can say whatever we want about an individual. How many of us that sat in our corner lunchtime and break time and say, but we don't like that teacher, grade 7, period 6 and 7, me saw the color coming for 6 and 7, me don't much up. But when you walk in the class, good afternoon class, good afternoon miss. You ought to respect the individual. And despite whatever it is, that the concept you have in your mind, you ought to respect individuals. We can continue to say to me that the allegation of a political organization paying people to come here, register and go back. Come on. So the state money is what? Raffle? Is it raffle money? It's to take care of the state's business. And the Prime Minister was very adamant as it relates to addressing the issue of using the state's purse. Somebody's commenting, no way. And a lot of persons are looking forward to coming back to vote when not being here. Hope there's something in place to combat this. Is it unfair? You already give up your birthright. You all castigated the Peter David and the Kit Mitchell for having 2 passports. You hear the St. Lucian political leader, him and all mentioning they gave up. So you feel because they have 2 passports, Kit Mitchell should just go back and say, listen, go and vote in America? No. If you're coming to aid in the development of states and so on, fine. But you can't come here just to cast a ballot and go. Say what you want. Not you that have to deal with it. Not you that have to get service. And then just go back. So thank you very much, caller. I don't know if there are any other person. Let me go over to my YouTube page. Somebody said Andy is looking for attention. Too much belly and back. He cannot see his foot. Very disrespectful. All he does is run around like mongoose. They gave him fire. He don't want to know his portfolio. Yeah, man, he doesn't understand. All right. So we are happy, ladies and gentlemen, to have our brothers and sisters and nenen, as we just call it, to visit us home. It is always welcoming. But when you start playing with our democracy, right? When you start playing with a democracy on the basis of petty politics, it's a vote. That's all it is. To simply say that you're there. The addendum voters list is out now. Contact your parliamentary rep, constituency led for copies. All right. So the addendum voters list that is out at present, so you can think, like you get it at your medical stations, you can get it at your revenue office, your police stations. Those are areas you can get the addendum voters list. So go ahead, check the list and come report them. You see somebody name that you know since in 19 Bruce. they go America and then you see them on the voters list. You haven't seen or heard from them in the last 15 years. And them is voter now. And it's to my understanding, even in the diaspora, some of them behavioral pattern is deplorable. Understand, even in New York City and other places, they're disrespectful. Some NDC supporters, they have to believe they're living in America, but Grenada is theirs. And you can't talk ills about the Prime Minister. Bambai go tell. Fly your kite. Longest rope of an end. So, ladies and gentlemen, now that we have hit the 7 o'clock hour, I think that brings us to the end of not just today's programming, but for the week. I'd like to remind you guys of a few things that might be coming up. St. Mark's constituency breakfast takes place on Saturday, the 27th of April, 2024, from 7 to 11. All right, so go there and support. They would be on, I think, Diamond Street. It's close to the constituency office. They have bakes and so on, so go be a part of it. $15 gets you your breakfast, all right? June 1st, don't forget that date, ladies and gentlemen. The St. Andrews Southeast Youth Arm, they presents Bougie, all right, a cocktail edition. You have $35 on complimentary and the champagne, and if only for the dance is only $10. Cocktails start at 7, dance starts at 10. That would be at Fort View in St. Andrews. All right, so go be a part of this, and whatever other events that we know that is coming up, I want you guys to go be a part of it. Let me say, ladies and gentlemen, on May 5th, on May 5th, Legends Weekend presented by the Grenada Football Association. On May 5th, we would be at the National Stadium. Yours truly, Royalty James, I will be part of the celebrity team. We'll be taking on the ex-national, and then we see the Caribbean taking on the world. All right, so come be a part of this on May 5th. The information I would have to get and start disseminating it as we get closer to the event. But I'll be there. Promise that, teacher is going to score about 4 goals. I'll be the highlight of this event. That'll be the highlight of that evening, I promise some people that I'm going to score some goal. Alright? I'm going to score some goals, ladies and gentlemen. I promise you guys that. I'll be the first person to score for Grenada. For celebrity, you see. I say Grenada. Well, I don't even know what I played. I never hear that yet. But ladies and gentlemen, it is always a pleasure to come here and be able to broadcast and be able to disseminate the information that I can. We always, you guys can link me anytime. Many persons message me on Messenger. Sometimes I might tell you guys I'll message you back in a while and then forget. But however, sometimes my communications with you guys are as frequent as possible. Sometimes persons call me. Like the other day, somebody called me. They were like, "Hey, principal, listen, I'm in an argument right now. I want a clip. I want some information." And I was like, "Listen to me. Hey, you're getting that based on what they were arguing about." But I said, "You're going to get that." And then tutus I sent it for them, and they was like, "Hey, teacher, I need to see you. You want to get a drink?" But I was like, "Okay, man, don't worry that, because this is what you want to do. You want to not just sometimes argue with persons for arguing's sake. You want to bring light to whatever the argument is, and you want that information to be factual. So whenever you guys are tormented by the other side and you just need that bit of information, link me up. Call me. My number is open, 536-5843. Call me, all right? Just don't call me after hours. Call me after hours. You know what is going to happen. There are going to be problems in the camp. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say good afternoon to my wonderful but troublesome wife, Andia. Good evening to you. My kids, a pleasant good afternoon to you, Javion and Layla. Good evening to you. Whom else am I forgetting? My dad out there in Victoria. Good evening to you, Dad. My lovely sister that is visited all the way from the United Kingdom. Londa, good evening. I know we have not communicated as yet, but you know I love you, right? So I'm going to be up. I'm going to make some time and come to Victoria, and we go make a link up, right? I hope that you're not going. I had to call you because I hope you're not going back before the 5th. You know, you got to see your brother. You understand me? You got to see your brother play some football here in Grenada. All right? So, ladies and gentlemen, to whomever else, if you're celebrating your birthday, your anniversary, whatever you're enjoying in life over the weekend, be careful. Be on the safe side. God's blessings to each and every one of you. So from my household to yours, I want to say God's blessings. To my friend out there, Neil Pascal, small face, good evening, Mrs. Pascal. Miss Louise, good evening to you. To Annick's dad and his wife out there in Canada, good evening to you guys. Teresa Kalimo, Glenda, Kati, so many names that I can call. Petey, good evening to you guys. Good evening. There's Sherry. Miss Collins out there in Canada, also good evening. I want to ensure that there are some people listening that doesn't want to say hi to them. Marilyn Ferguson, good evening to you. I mean, don't say, what happened? Prince don't call me name. Good evening to the entire classroom, and we're back here again Monday. You know, Monday we have something new. You know when NDC does operate. Whenever you go over the weekend, they just do something wrong. So, next week, we'll be back here, all right? So God's blessings to each and every one of you. I love each and every one of you. See you again next week. It brings us to the end of this week's broadcast. God's blessings to you. To my political leader and past Prime Minister of Grenada, Carrick County, P.D. Martinick. Good evening to you, sir. Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Claudius Mitchell. Wherever you are, God's blessings to you, sir. From the depth of my heart, I respect you and I love you as an individual. God's blessings to you. All right? Have a blessed evening.
A millionaire or some kind of petty bourgeoisie anytime you're living here in this country. You got to be in skullduggery, making you money illicitly to live like somebody in this country. It's outrageous and insane, them crazy prices in Port of Spain, and like the merchants going out their brain, and the working man like the only toiling in vain. Where you ever hear a television for 7,000, $250,000 for a little piece of land? A pair of sneakers, $200, 80,000-90,000 for motor cars. At last, here in Trinidad, we see capitalism gone mad. It's sad and getting more bad because capitalism gone mad. Provide for your family today on your present salary is an impossibility in this country. So many bills to pay, there is no conceivable way to save for a rainy day in this country. Avariciousness, to be precise, is why every damn thing so overpriced. Big business making everybody feel government give them an open license to steal. Would you believe me? One nylon panty is $19.90, $20 for some baby milk. The cheapest jersey costs over $60, $200 and change a yard for silk. It's hard here in Trinidad. Lord have mercy, capitalism gone mad. It's sad, things get getting more bad. Oh Lord, capitalism gone mad.
This is Arabian Vibes.
To buy a pack of cigarette, just leave you with a hole in your wallet, and money is so hard to get. In this country, necessity or luxuries, it doesn't matter what the item is, they're charging anything they please. In this country, primary school books price is lewd, is highway robbery, the price of food. All hopes and dreams elude the poor man, but politicians still expect good work attitude. Just imagine this, the cheapest coffee, over 3,000, not even dying today easy. Thousands of dollars for the undertaker, so you could get a spot in the cemetery. It hard here in Trinidad. Oh Lord, capitalism gone mad. The gladness that once we had is gone because capitalism gone mad. You got to have heavy contact, know how to move up in society to make any kind of impact. In this country, you got to know how to chip the feel, how to scheme and swindle properly, perfect the art of wheel and deal. In this country, I say survival in this land isn't easy for no man. With unemployment and high inflation, somehow we go dead before the end of this recession. Where the hell is this? Some mango chuli costing $3.50, $40 for one watermelon. Half your salary for fish, meat and poultry. Time you buy greens, all your money done. It hard here in Trinidad. Lord have mercy, capitalism